Ever pondered about the history of Bhutan, Thimphu? Let's unravel the captivating tale of this small yet mystifying kingdom, Bhutan, cradled in the heart of the Himalayas with its capital, Thimphu. Known affectionately as the land of the thunder dragon, Bhutan is a realm where tradition and modernity coalesce, where happiness is considered more significant than economic growth, as reflected in its philosophy of gross national happiness. Venture back in time to Bhutan's early history, when nomadic herders roamed its vast landscapes. These were the first people to call this mountainous paradise home. Then, in the 7th century, a transformative period began with the arrival of Buddhism. It was this spiritual philosophy that would shape Bhutan's cultural ethos, coloring its art, politics, and everyday life, permeating the very fabric of Bhutanese society. And thus, the seeds of Bhutan's unique cultural and spiritual identity were sown. Did you know Bhutan was not always a unified kingdom? For many centuries, from the 10th to the 17th, this region was a fragmented land, under the influence of various Buddhist schools. Each school had its own territory, its own leaders, and its own interpretation of the Buddhist teachings. The power dynamics were fluid, and the boundaries were often blurred, creating a complex and intricate political landscape. Then in the 17th century, a significant chapter in Bhutan's history unfolded. A Tibetan Lama and military leader named Ngawang Namgyal arrived on the scene. Fleeing religious persecution in his homeland, he sought refuge in Bhutan. But Ngawang Namgyal was not just any refugee. He was a visionary, a man with a plan. Ngawang Namgyal saw the potential in this fragmented land. He saw an opportunity to create a unified Bhutan. With his military prowess and spiritual charisma, he started to bring the country together. He managed to win the respect and allegiance of the local rulers, and gradually the different territories began to unite under his leadership. Ngawang Namgyal didn't stop at mere unification. He also established a unique system of governance. He declared himself the Shabdrung Rinpoche, the spiritual ruler of Bhutan. But he also acknowledged the need for a temporal ruler to handle the day-to-day administration. And so he set up a dual system of government, with a spiritual leader and a temporal leader working side by side. This system of governance was far ahead of its time. It created a balance of power and ensured that the spiritual and temporal needs of the people were both addressed. It was a system that was resilient, adaptable, and enduring. It survived for centuries, right up until the early 20th century. And so, under the leadership of Ngawang Namgyal, a new Bhutan began to emerge. A Bhutan that was unified, stable, and strong. A Bhutan that had its own unique identity and its own unique system of governance. Bhutan, as a unified entity, was beginning to take shape. Imagine a country where the monarchy was not centuries old, but just about a century old. This is the story of Bhutan, a kingdom nestled in the heart of the Himalayas. The year was 1907, when the nation's leaders came together to elect Ugyen Wangchuck as the first hereditary king of Bhutan, marking the birth of the Wangchuck dynasty. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, when King Jigme Dorji Wangchuck ascended the throne. Known as the father of modern Bhutan, this third king of the dynasty introduced significant reforms that changed the face of the nation. He modernized the country, bringing it out of isolation and into the international community. But perhaps his most notable move was to relinquish some of the monarchy's power, creating a national assembly to ensure the voices of the Bhutanese people were heard in governance. Thus, the monarchy as we know it today in Bhutan came into existence. How did Bhutan, the secluded kingdom, become a part of the global community? This transformation began in the 1960s when Bhutan cautiously started opening up to the outside world. This step, taken with measured wisdom, maintained Bhutan's unique culture while inviting in modernity. But the real turning point came with the fourth king's decision to voluntarily abdicate in favor of his son. This move, unprecedented in Bhutan's history, led to the introduction of a new constitution. The year 2008 marked a significant milestone as Bhutan transitioned to a democratic government. Today, Bhutan stands as a constitutional monarchy, with Thimphu as its capital. A city that beautifully blends the traditional with the modern, Thimphu reflects the essence of Bhutan in the 21st century. And that, my friends, is the fascinating journey of Bhutan Thimphu, from a secluded kingdom to a vibrant democracy.